Muhammad, the founder and final prophet of Islam, was born around the year 570 CE in the city of Mecca, located in the Arabian Peninsula, into the respected but not wealthy clan of Banu Hashim, part of the powerful Quraysh tribe. His father, Abdullah, died before he was born, and his mother, Amina, died when he was just 6 years old, leaving him an orphan. He was then cared for first by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, and later by his uncle Abu Talib, who became a strong protector and supporter throughout his life. As a young man, Muhammad became known for his integrity, earning the nickname Al-Amin, meaning the trustworthy. He worked as a caravan trader, traveling across Arabia and possibly as far as Syria, gaining exposure to various cultures and religious beliefs, including Judaism and Christianity. At the age of 25, he entered into a marriage with Khadija, a wealthy and influential merchant widow who was 15 years older than him. Their marriage was harmonious and lasted until her death, and together they had several children, including Fatima, who would become especially significant in Islamic history. When Muhammad was around 40 years old, he began retreating to the cave of Hira near Mecca for solitary contemplation and spiritual reflection. During one of these retreats, he reported receiving his first revelation from the angel Gabriel, who conveyed to him the words of Allah, God. These revelations, which continued for the next 23 years of his life, formed the foundation of the Qur'an, the central religious text of Islam. Initially shocked and fearful, Muhammad confided in Khadija, who supported him and became the first convert to Islam. As he began preaching in Mecca, Muhammad called for the worship of one, all-powerful God, denounced idolatry, and advocated for social justice, including the fair treatment of the poor, the abolition of infanticide, and the equality of all believers. His message attracted a small but devoted group of followers, including close friends such as Abu Bakr, Ali ibn Abi Talib, his cousin and later son-in-law, and Uthman ibn Affan. However, his teachings provoked hostility from the Quraysh elite, who viewed his monotheistic message as a threat to the traditional polytheistic practices centered around the Kaaba, a sacred shrine that was a major source of Mecca's religious and economic importance. As opposition intensified, Muhammad and his followers faced increasing persecution, including social ostracism, economic sanctions, and physical violence. In 619, a year known as the Year of Sorrow, both Khadija and Abu Talib died, leaving Muhammad vulnerable. Eventually, in 622 CE, after being invited to mediate tribal disputes in the city of Yathrib, later renamed Medina, Muhammad and his followers made the Hijra, or migration, to the city. This event marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Muhammad established a cohesive Muslim community, Ummah, drafted the Constitution of Medina to regulate relations between Muslims, Jews, and other tribes, and began to assume roles as both a spiritual and temporal leader. His influence grew rapidly as he led his followers in a series of military engagements, including the battles of Badr, Uhud, and the Trench, against the Quraysh and other hostile groups. These confrontations not only demonstrated Muhammad's strategic capabilities but also consolidated his authority. Over time, more tribes across Arabia converted to Islam or entered into alliances with the Muslims. In 630 CE, Muhammad returned to Mecca at the head of a powerful force of thousands of followers. Rather than retaliating against his former enemies, he declared a general amnesty, entered the city peacefully, and proceeded to cleanse the Kaaba of its idols, rededicating it to the worship of Allah alone. This act symbolized the triumph of monotheism in the Arabian Peninsula. He then undertook efforts to unify the Arabian tribes under Islam, dispatching emissaries and delegations, and overseeing the spread of the new faith. In 632 CE, during his final pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Farewell Pilgrimage, he delivered his last sermon, emphasizing principles such as the equality of all Muslims regardless of race or status, the sanctity of life and property, and the importance of adhering to the Qur'an and his example, the Sunnah. Shortly thereafter, Muhammad fell ill and died in Medina at the age of 62 or 63. He was buried in the chamber of his wife Aisha, adjacent to the mosque that now bears his name. His death marked the end of direct divine revelation but the beginning of Islam's extraordinary expansion beyond Arabia. Today, Muhammad is revered by Muslims worldwide as the final prophet in a line that includes figures such as Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, and his life and teachings remain central to Islamic belief, law, and identity.